All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back. We're playing more Swords of the Serpentine. I feel like we gave Long a homework assignment for this week, but I don't remember what it was. Was it Dogma? Was that what he was supposed to watch? What
if there was one, I didn't do it.
Should have watched it. I mean, Dogma is amazing, but
very disappointed in you. Very disappointing you, Long. So I'm just going to go ahead and move him really fast. Okay, he's good.
Ouch. That's hard.
It's too much fun. It's too much fun. I really shouldn't have this power. Okay, so yeah, so there goes opening banter talk since Long didn't do his homework. Anyone watching 28 years later this weekend? Anyone? Is it
I'm hoping to.
Does come out,
yeah. I've heard good things so far, so I'm excited.
I heard good things too. As everyone knows here, my wife will not watch a horror movie, so I will not be going to see it this weekend. But I'll try to carve out some time at some point.
I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming. Those are a lot of fun. Those are a lot of fun movies back in the day. So I like when Danny Boyle and Alex Garland get together. Good things usually happen.
100%.
Is it close to 28 years, or like what is actually the math on?
It is.
Oh, they try to match it. They did 28 days, and then they had 28 months, like 28 months after 28 days, or something like that. Like I think they were pretty close.
It's close.
So 28 days later was 2002, so it's been 23 years. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty close.
All right.
I would rather have it this year than wait 5 years, though. Personally. Because who knows where we're going to be in 5 years. Yeah, we might have movie
yes, exactly. It may actually be 28 days.
Yeah, exactly. We might actually be there. Yeah.
I'm good with a bow, so we.
I am not, but
I'm actually okay with a bow too.
Definitely not.
I did that training.
I know some carpentry, so if somebody else wants that, I can build stuff. So there's that.
I can hunt and shoot like a motherfucker. So you build and
well, the three of us sound like we've got a nice little group going.
We got a
that kind of world.
The rest of you?
Yeah. I'm good at carrying stuff.
Yeah, Jeremy's just huge, so that's helpful.
True.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Long. What are you bringing?
Use my body, I guess.
So you're gonna sell it
if you want to.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna use Long's body for something. What about you, Melissa? What do you bring to the table in our fictional apocalypse?
I can be quiet and stealthy, I would say. Like I can tiptoe places and be quiet. So I think if someone needs someone to sneak somewhere, I think I could I can walk very slowly and I can walk very quietly and lightly. It's really all I bring to the table. I can't carry stuff. I can't build stuff. I can't
I like how we're talking about 28 days, 28 weeks later, which is well known because it made zombies start to run really fast. And most was like, I can walk places slowly.
I can sneak and not get their attention. Maybe. Kipser, I'm turning the spotlight to you. What can you do?
I know archery. I know kendo. I know hand-to-hand combat. I know how to use welding. I have a level C license in welding. What more do you want, Melissa? I can keep going.
All right, Kipser, you definitely made the cut.
You have made the cut. No problem. There you go. Okay. I'm a little worried about Long right now, but we'll use his body for something. I don't know. Food, whatever. Anyhow. Okay, well, that was weird. Let's go ahead and start. Last time around, you all basically put together a little road trip, so to speak, a river trip. So, Vincent, you had paid a visit to Ludovica, and you had agreed to give your true name to her in exchange for her teaching you how to do the severance ritual so that you can sever your family from Borda, this gestating god that's awakening. Orsigh's revelations basically allowed you all to know where your ancestor had made the pact. It was some kind of swamp shrine in the shadow of the destroyed plateau. It's called a land called a grasping mire. You started to make preparations for your departure. Fortuna, you enlisted the help of an old sailor named Solano, who was the captain of a ship called the Indomita and was father to Bellamira Mainwallen, whom Althevir killed during the succession rites 15 years ago. Chauncey, so Levita, you met with your respective spouses and broke the news. Dionisio was totally cool. and you all agreed to let him stay behind so that your child could have at least one surviving parent should things go south. Valentina, Chauncey's wife, did not respond as kindly. Chauncey was called a fool, liar, various other things. And then she abruptly left with a wine bottle in hand. Arkadiy, you visited Helene, who was your old Thief Guild contact. She had done very well for herself. She was essentially running the fighting pit. She had her own Thieves Guild now. And she gave you a little parting gift. She gave you a little weapon that she had crafted for you years ago. It had like these little Ruska and Mainwall and embellishments on it. So you have that on you. Vincent, you spent time in the undervaults of your estate, trying to affix the true names, etching them into these various tomb carvings, hoping to secure everyone's spirits if everything went terrible on the journey, so that hopefully Borda couldn't snatch them up or some other sorcerer. Chauncey, you recruited a guide named Relis Cade, who had familiarity with the Serpentine River and some of the swampland stuff, since none of you have wilderness mastery, which makes perfect sense. Then you got on board the Indomita. You took over the captain's quarters. You were sitting at this table. You were traveling up the river a little bit. Rain was coming down. And then suddenly Vincent, Fortuna, Solavita, you all started to hear these voices from the shadows. And they were kind of like pestering you. They were former friends, tutors. I think we had Fortuna's ex-lover. And they were all berating you, effectively. Arkadiy, Chauncey, you didn't seem to be affected, but you did notice that there were these thudding sounds out on the deck. You found that was effectively whatever was happening to your family was also happening to most of the crew. You were seeing sailors fall from the mast. You're seeing a number of them just step overboard, like into air for no particular reason. Many of them were talking out loud to people who weren't there. You managed to snap Relis Cade out of whatever funk he was in. Vincent, you got out of your funk as well. You turned on your spirit sight and you noticed that there were dozens. I should say probably about 20 of these shadowy entities. These like not quite ghosts, not quite specters. You're not entirely sure what they are. They're just literally floating shadows with these red eyes that were assaulting the crew in various places. And so that's where we left off. So we're going to pick up right there. Let me get little music going as we're going to go into initiative for this, I think, since there's stuff going down. All right. So resetting the scene, we've got Chauncey, Arkadiy, I'll say Vincent as well. The three of you are out on the deck. Chauncey and Arkadiy are probably a little bit closer to the midsection, whereas Vincent, you probably just stepped out of the captain's quarters. Fortuna, Solavita, I think you're like right behind Vincent, and that's fine. And you can see all around the deck as the rain's pouring down, there are these people who are kind of babbling to themselves. And some of them are like reaching out across the railing to most of you at nothing, but to Vincent, like at these creatures. So I think I'm going to throw it to Vincent because Vincent has the best idea of what's happening. So Vincent, you're going to lead us off. Tell me what you think you're going to do here.
I'm going to try and rally everyone together that is conscious in the moment, not being distracted by the spirits. And try to gather them and tell them to get some lighting, like lanterns up around the ship, just make it a bit brighter.
Okay. Sure. So you want to get some lights up. It's raining, so that'd be kind of tricky, but they can probably get some lanterns up, I would say. You can give me a sway if you want to see how effectively you do. You can see that Chauncey is talking to your guide. And there's probably one or two other deckhands, I think, at the time. So I think Chauncey had an AoE success at the end of last. So there's probably like maybe two deckhands
because of the sway equivalent
play to the crowd. Yeah, exactly.
All right,
yeah,
I'll spend one of my sway.
So there's probably three people.
Four.
Okay. So you see immediately they get up and they look around. You bark out an order, and they get to it. Like they start seeing that some of their friends, some of their their coworkers, their fellow travelers, sailors, etc. are gone. Like their minds are just not working. They're babbling to themselves, and so they don't see their captain, and so they just turn to you. And someone's barking an order, and they're following it. Okay. With that, anything else, Vincent, before you pass it over to the next person?
I'll just pass it. I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Who are you going to pass it to? Who's going to go next?
I'll go Solavita.
Solavita, seeing that Vincent has sort of taken command of the people, will turn and sort of yell, we need to drop the anchor. People are jumping off the boats. We have to stop moving. And she's going to go to the anchor and just start cranking the large wheel in the center to drop it. Or is it one of the wheels, or is it like you pull a pin and it just goes? I think the
what's it called?
A cap?
Is it I always forget these terms.
What's mechanically?
Capstan? What is the thing? Like you turn, it's like the horizontal wheel. I think you
remember. Yes.
I remember it from Divine Comedy, but I can't remember the name. We'll say it's something that you can crank. We'll say it's something you can crank. No problem.
So I like pull whatever is holding the crank up so that the anchor just free fall drops, gets into the water, and then she's gonna get to the side. Probably not enough action, but she'll look over to see who's fallen down into the water so far.
Okay. Give me. I'll say you can do you can do an athletics test if you want, and if you succeed at it, you'll get all of that, and then you'll start to see what's in the water too. If you fail it, you just get the anchor thing, basically. Okay.
That's a 1.
That's a fail for those of you
3.
who. She rolled 3. You rush over. It's stuck. It's wedged. Maybe there's even whoever is back here babbling kind of gets in your way. And it's like kind of talking through you, and as if you like step through whatever their target was, and so you're having some difficulty negotiating. Eventually, you will hit. You will start to crank it up, and you'll hear the sounds of the chain go, and then the splash of the water as the anchor comes down. Yes. So, but you haven't made it to the railing yet, so you don't necessarily know how many people have fallen over. Who would you like to go next?
I definitely would have yelled my plan. I'm thinking, looking at the people that we need to convince to stop jumping, I go to Chauncey.
All right, Chauncey.
Okay.
Now it's your game. This is it. This is you. This is what you're good at.
Okay. Depending upon who I can see, I know that the Doctor, Relis Cade, I forget who else, but like we've at least got some core members of the crew are good to go. I think this feels like a good time for a command spend. Men and women, you need to look around you. Your friends are in need of you. They are not in control of themselves. Link arms with them. Remind them of who they are. Pull them back from the brink. They can't do it alone. They need you. Elbow to elbow, locked together. We are stronger, united, than we are left upon the edge.
Okay. Make the spend, do a sway test still, and you get your +3 from making the command as you call out. You don't see the captain currently, but that's, he could be below deck. It's fine. But I will say, like you mentioned, like the dock is there. You can see towards the sort of the starboard side, you can see one of the, I think it was the cook that you were introduced to. Like you can see he's coming up from below, and he is like, he's got his hands over his head. He's like this big hulking man. He's got his hands over his head. He's like, stop it, get away, stop. And he's just swinging back and forth. So you can see he's coming up as well.
Okay, excellent. So I'll spend a couple of my own, and then we'll add a +3 to the end of this.
Okay.
Wow. So a total of 6.
Okay.
So of course I roll a 1, but at least I got a 6 thanks to the...
Yeah, let me double check their threshold. Let me make sure it's 4, not 3.
The ones so far.
Their threshold is 3. Their threshold is 3 for morale, so that does still trigger your play to the crowd.
Okay.
Okay. Woo-hoo. So you only get 2 though. All right.
If I can get 2 off of rolling a 1, I'll take it.
Yay.
Fair enough.
Better than 0.
So we'll say like you see Relis Cade, you see the dock. They rush over. They start like shaking people near them. Like they grab somebody by their shirt and pull them just before they're about to stop, and they turn around. They just kind of slap them around in the face. You see the dock races over towards where the cook is coming up, and it's just like there's no one there. There's no one there. Like just wake up, and then like looks around and just like picks up picks up like some sort of piece of equipment and just kind of smacks him right upside the head, just to kind of literally hit him and knock some sense into them. And so we'll say you got 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Who's gonna go next?
I saw Arkadiy recently, so
He's up
Arkadiy,
here
they're
with you,
going
yes.
crazy.
Yes, of course they're going crazy. Why would they not? They're in Eversink. God, what a city. And he will, he's scanning around. He's looking for those who are like getting ready to jump over. And he's just basically going to run over and start cracking heads together to try to either knock them out or knock some sense into them.
I like it.
Without
I
killing
like
them,
it.
obviously.
Of course, yeah. So there's like, you're not necessarily pulling the swords out, stabbing
just
people.
kinda
Just
pop.
yeah, absolutely.
A little
Okay, yeah,
Stooges
so
action.
Let's do a warfare test. I think that sounds good. I've added two refresh tokens, by the way, to the tracker from what Chauncey was able to complete. But go ahead and give us.
I'll spend 2 warfare.
Okay.
Get a 6 in total.
Okay. I'll say you're able to reach and grab 2. I think that sounds reasonable. You see one person getting ready to fall on the port side. You can see they're just calling out. Their foot is leaning over the side, like if they found like this little wedge between the railing, and they're just kind of falling down. You see splintering in the wood where somebody else came across violently. And just before they're about to fall, you grab them, spin them around, grab the second one, and smash 2 people together. They collapse to the ground, and they don't seem to be in any danger of falling over currently. Okay. What next, Arkadiy? Or who next, maybe?
Arkadiy just looks around, not seeing enemy, but Aaron knows that he must send it over to shadowy sirens so that they do not get to go twice in a row.
Yeah. That is very true. I was wondering if you were going to do that or not. I was like, I was going to get like 32 turns in a row. Okay. So I'm not necessarily going to play out every single one of these as attacking in one of your roommates. I'm just going to roll, see how many of them turn and address you guys. That's really all I'm going to do.
Oh dear. He said
okay.
32. That's a big number.
I meant there would have been 16 that got to go, and then another 6, and they would get their 16 back again. So. Okay.
Big number.
Okay. So of the 2, so a couple things have happened. First of all, like the ones that Arkadiy smashed together didn't necessarily like he saved those 2 by giving them a headache. Same with like the ones that the doc managed to take out. But that doesn't, like Vincent, you would see that didn't disperse these shades. And so with no other, figure to necessarily target, they're going to instead start changing their targets. So Vincent, give me a morale test as one of them notices that you're looking directly at it. And it begins to sort of float in your direction. It doesn't seem to be at all affected by the rain pouring down. And you hear it not necessarily like verbally, but in your mind begin to sort of mine away at your memories somewhat. And you start to have these random firings of memories from when you were a child, from when you were in prison. They all kind of stop popping up in this weird montage of images.
101.
Oh dear. Okay. All right.
We
So
need
you
to
were
stop
going-
rolling ones.
Yeah, this is not the
This
time
is
for that.
bad. This is real bad.
It's better now.
3 of our
than
4
in the
rolls
finale.
so far.
Same. Then again, we might not make it to the finale.
This may be the finale.
This might be the finale.
That's a good point. Okay. So this is going to be, I'm going to spend some malice to essentially make this grit piercing. So I'm going to do some morale damage to you. It's not going to be, so it's going to ignore 3 points of grit. So it's going to take 6 points of morale damage towards you, Vincent.
That sounds like a lot. Let me see.
Yes, it is.
That sounds like a lot.
It's not a big number, 32 or 16. But
If you're over my
it's a
threshold by a certain
lot.
amount, does that something happen to me?
It would be like for you guys, for my side in terms of like AoEing and stuff like that. It's not the same thing. Yeah.
I unfortunately have to take all 6 then.
Make sure I'm doing this right.
So where does that put you?
-6.
I apologize. I think I did that wrong. You don't roll a morale test. My bad. I roll a sway attack. So it's a 6. It's a 6 to hit. And you're
right. There we go.
There we go. That's my bad. I got it backwards. Now I got to roll damage. Okay, so that's much better for you. That's going to be a total of 3 points of
I'll
damage.
still drop to -3, and I'll have to do a test to see if I go unconscious, I believe.
Okay.
You are unstable.
We've known about that for a long time.
Ooh, a 6
They put it in prison.
That is really good.
Offer the shade your body.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. So one of them begins mining through your memories, and it's going to pick a particularly traumatizing one, perhaps from your time in prison. What do you think gets into your mind to distract you and really begin to give like an actual visceral response to the memory suddenly appearing in your brain? Like, what's something from Vincent's time in prison?
There are times where there'd be weeks before they'd send down food or water, and you have to sit there with your own thoughts echoing off the walls, perishing away.
Huh. So like suddenly, like around you for a moment, you don't see anyone. You don't see the deck. You don't see the rain. You don't see your family members. You just see the walls of your cell, and like the sounds of like distant clinking of a cell here or a cell there before a shout suddenly brings you back. But that little moment happened to get you. Next up is going to be Chauncey. Chauncey, what's your morale threshold?
For morale, it's going to be 4.
All right, I fail. I roll a 3.
Woo.
For Fortuna, you don't notice this, Fortuna, but one of them just sort of emerges through the window inside of the captain's quarters that you're in, and you suddenly hear a voice behind you, the voice of Althavira. What is your threshold? Actually, no, it doesn't matter. It's a 4, so it's a success. Okay.
4 is my threshold, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I asked that. It's always 3 or 4. Okay. That is going to be 7 points of morale damage as you hear the voice of Althavira from behind you, threatening to come and take the crown away from you, so to speak. You just hear, "You thought I was dead. I was just waiting." And you turn and look over your shoulder, and there in the room with you, as everybody else is left and you are alone now, is Althavira.
And you said 7?
7, yes.
Okay, so I have a grid of 1, so that puts me down to a -2.
Okay, so you got to do the same thing Vincent did and roll that morale test to see if you stay conscious.
So can I, at this point, do an investigative point spend to gain grit 4?
Yes. What would you like to do? What ability do you want to spend?
Nobility. I feel like I've come into my own, and I am not going to be.
Okay.
I'm not going to kind of. Words are escaping me. Like her power over me is not what it was before, because I am now matriarch. So
there's a confidence in you now that maybe you didn't have when you were younger. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that'll put me at a grit
at the ripe young age of 55.
She's older than that.
I'm 70.
So when she came into power, she was like,
she did power. She says right. She says that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Although I just realized that increase in grit doesn't actually help me with this roll.
Okay.
So that was probably not wise.
Do you want to take it back then?
Yeah. Sorry, I just realized that's not what I'm doing right now.
No, I think it. So it would do 3 grit damage to you.
Oh, okay.
Through 3 morale damage to you.
Then it'll leave me at 1. Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay.
Then I don't have to do the roll. Perfect.
You are trapped in this room. Okay. Kipser, Solavita has just finished like turning that the cranks, the anchor falls, and right as you go to move towards the railing, you see someone begin to manifest on the other side of the railing. All right, that's a 6 to hit against your morale, and then damage is going to be 2, just 2.
So I would like to increase my morale threshold by 3 using my investigative point. Liar's tell, because whatever that is manifesting is not true.
Okay, so you're increasing your threshold, so by +3.
Yeah, so instead of 4, it's 7, which
that'll be a miss.
mean that you can't hit me.
That is correct. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so who do you think you start to see manifest? Is it like someone from your past? Is it someone who died? Is it, who do you think it is?
It's going to be... Oh, I've got an interesting one. It's going to be a version of Chauncey.
Oh, really?
Feeling like I'm pulling his kids away from him.
Okay. Okay. Can I do it, Chauncey? Like, Soda Vita? You're not their mother. Stop acting like it. And as you look around, that there's Chauncey over by the main mast, and this is just someone playing tricks on you. Okay, one more. The one's going to go at Arkadiy. Arkadiy, I think that's a miss. That's a 2. I rolled a 1 on my attack die.
It's a big old miss.
Yeah. And then I have one more to do. So I'm going to do random to see who that's going to hit. That's going to hit Vincent. All right, Vincent, one more at you. 4 to hit. And then you hear a second, maybe it's like a guard from the, you get this second flash of like the cell around you, and you hear the voice of like a guard who used to like mistreat you in some particular way. That's going to be, I can do math, 4 morale.
You said it was 4 to hit on the threshold?
Yeah, it's 4. It was 4 on the threshold and 4 morale.
I'll spend an investigative to increase my threshold by 3 for 1 attack.
Okay.
I'll do Spirit Sight, so what it's attacking is like a substitution of myself.
Okay. So you just kind of move off to the side. We see a double of Vincent in this sort of spectral form, and it launches out. You see these like tendrils come out from the shadow and just kind of get into the brain area of your spectral duplicate. But that is the end of their turn. I will pass it back over to you, Vincent. Actually, no, I got to give it to Fortuna. Excuse me. Fortuna has to go. So Fortuna, is your turn.
Okay, so I would like to, if this is okay, I'm looking at my token of the constricting serpent.
Indeed.
And it's easier you can restrain someone physically or mentally. So I'm hoping to try to do this as like a play to the crowd against kind of like Altavira et al, if possible with this, if I'm able to kind of combo the token with the play to the crowd kind of used in that sort of like offensive way.
It's a sway test, and you're trying to use you're using this device. I think play to the crowd, that would only come into play if you rolled high enough, right? Because isn't that the blast version of sway attack?
Yeah, and that's just kind of what I'm aiming for. So I'm kind of starting with here. I'm going to do similar to what Chauncey did, where I'm going to spend the point of command to get a +3 in addition to spending sway points.
Okay.
And then there's automatically going to be a +2 because I'm using the token.
Okay, so you're up to 5. So you get an automatic crit. So go ahead and roll again. Not crit. You have an automatic 6 basically, but roll a die because you might even do better. And see what you get. You
oh my gosh.
You rolled a 1.
Man.
Okay. So you can target effectively too. So we can say that there's Altavira who is like manifesting in the room. You hear the sounds of like another voice as you hear this like creaking suddenly, and you look up and you can see hanging where like a overhead lantern had been hooked. You can see there's instead like the head of Bella Mira just kind of hanging there as if it's the lantern itself. And she's like calling out to you. It's like, you did this to me. You're the one who got me killed.
And Fortuna's basically just like, you are not going to deter us from our task. You will not take control over us. We will take control over you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay, so
It's a D6 plus.
just a
plus
D6, and then I had spent. So it's going to be a minimum of 2.
Yes.
So the D6 is a 2.
It's okay. That is. You do that damage to each individual, and both of them you can see shatter. You can see like suddenly with the swaying turns back to the lantern. You can see all the Vera fades, and you just see the shadow next to what looks like some nautical display, and they are no longer there to harry you. That's the end of the round. You're going to get to start up a new round. I just want to point out there's 6 refresh tokens from everything you just did in this past round. So there's refresh tokens in the pool if you need them. Fortuna, who's going to take up the task next? Who's going to go next?
I'm tempted to be selfish and go again. If people are
Do
okay
it.
with that,
Be selfish.
Go for it.
because let me just check real quick on the. Can I use the token again?
How many times have you used it? Because it does actually deplete after a certain point. I'm trying to remember. Have you been keeping track?
I want to say twice.
Okay.
I want to say this would be the second time that I've
That's
used
the second
it.
time? Okay.
Because I
Yeah, you basically would get one more use out of it.
Okay. So if I need to relocate myself a bit so that I want to do this. Yeah, basically I just want to do the same thing. Because this gives me a +2. So I want to try to, again, just sort of get rid of these kind of sirens if possible. So I'm going to get the +2 from that.
Okay. So you leave the captain's quarters at this point. Because
Yes.
there's no more that you see it there. And the rain's pouring
Exactly.
down. You see everyone's kind of split in these different directions. You see Arkadiy pulling people down from the railing, kind of knocking them out. You see Chauncey trying to direct some of the crew. Vincent, you can see, is shifting around in the middle, and he's like kind of talking to himself here and there. You see Solavita in the distance, trying to drop the anchor there a bit. And you can see that there are people who are coming to your side. Like you can see Chauncey and Arkadiy and Vincent have managed to bring a few people back, and they're also aiding here and there. You still can't see the shades, so you have no idea exactly where they all are. But you can tell they're victims because you see victims that are kind of weeping or huddling or near a railing. So you could potentially call out to the victims themselves.
Okay, so my option would be trying to help the victims, not trying to kind of offensively get rid of more of these.
So the thing is they are insubstantial and not visible unless they choose to make them so. And so really they only become visible to whoever it is they're targeting at the time. Unless you have spirit set like Vincent does.
That works for me. Then I won't be using the token, but I will make a nobility spend for a +3. And I'm going to do sway as well, trying to help the victims. What I'm going to do here is she's got her cane, and so she's kind of tapping the cane on the deck of the ship, and I'm imagining it's like wood planks. And so she's going to kind of flavor be yelling at everyone, count deck planks with me. And so she's just kind of like tapping her cane, kind of trying to like ground people to the sound of that and try to get them to like look at the grooves and the planks in the wood and just listening to the sound. So that's like kind of what she's trying to do. So I'll have a +3 from the nobility spend, and then I'm going to spend 2 sway. So it'll be a +5.
Okay. Be a big roll.
Then roll the 3.
Total
so
of
that's
8.
an 8. Yep.
Just missed hitting a 9, which would have given you the double. Unfortunately, you're still only going to be able to target 2. But I'll say that you see someone just sort of they're stumbling up from below. You can definitely see that there's people coming up from below deck that are suffering as well, as if they're like being chased by bees or something like that. And you manage to intercept right as they come up, and they look at you, their eyes wild with fear, and then you start jamming the cane down, and they're like their heads are moving up and down and up and down, and they just start to shake their heads a little bit, and they look up. It's gone. Mother's gone. Mother's gone. Oh goodness! And like they seem to start to calm down and come back too.
Chauncey, you speak your words.
Chauncey at this point is like slightly exasperated, and so he'll fall back on, tried and true methods. I think I've used a shanty of some form in every chapter so far, so I should continue that forward. And if we're dealing with sirens, why not fight that with your own thing? Maybe I'll spend a point of charm to try and we're dealing with sailors here. Kind of try and he'll think of something that he knows is popular in the ports these days. Try and get a little chant going, get the people to join in with them. Just something to kind of have a prevalent counter song, so to speak. So I'll spin that for the 3. And this will pick a couple, and then we'll add a +3 to the end of this.
Sounds good. Oh man, that's a big.
So we got a 6. So that'll take it to a 9.
So that'll basically catch the attention of 3 of these different sailors, and you see again, some of them are coming up from below, some of them are climbing down the mast, others are just kind of falling and stumbling over themselves, and as they're doing so, you've got the shanty song going, they suddenly start to just sing. It's like a muscle memory begins to overtake them, and it kind of brings them back, similar to the stomping of the cane, and you start to hear the sounds of other people joining into the song. And it's not just the people you've already awoken or severed from this connection, but these new folks as well. Okay, excellent. Who goes next?
Salavita, how are things with the anchor?
Is the anchor down now?
You got the anchor down on your last turn, so you're not nervous that the ship is going to continue to travel without.
The anchor's down. Me. And she's going to sort of yell, man overboard, and run towards wherever the rope ladder would be stored to throw over the side.
Okay, I like it.
And look over the edge to see who's down there and what's going on.
Okay, so I would say no roll necessary. As you race over, you throw, you kind of get this ladder dropped, and you look down. And it's hard to see, again, the rain's pouring, so your visibility isn't great, but you definitely see and you hear the sounds of people overboard. The problem is that the people that you hear screaming from below are screaming for specific people. They're calling out for their mother or their father or their wife or this or that. So you can tell they're still under this effect, but you certainly have that thrown down there.
Then, so if I can get that kind of just down there, and can I see anybody, or do I have to get in the water to get to them?
I would say you can see shapes of people for sure. You can't make out necessarily who's who, but you can certainly see people. Yeah, that's not a problem.
I'd like to use just straight sorcery to create or transmute just some of the air into little rocks to hit them on the head lightly. Little light tap in the head with a little tiny boulder.
You want to conk
just like Arkadiy. I'm helping.
In the river on the head.
Okay, maybe I'll go in the water.
With a boulder.
Not knock them out.
Tap with the boulder.
Like a little fist
just to knock them unconscious.
Small
so that
one. Just
they drown.
Little drop on the head.
It's a mercy, really.
Of the illusion, but not knock them out into unconscious.
Okay.
You're just trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
It's like tapping them on the shoulder.
I think because you're trying to be very precise in a very quick succession,
I'll go
we're
in the
going to
water.
raise the difficulty. No, you can do this. I'm just going to say raise the difficulty a little bit to kind of create a blast of small pebbles and things just to sort of shock them back. Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Does your magic target morale or health?
Health.
That's the other problem. Yeah, see, that's the other problem. It targets health. So we'll be scraping their faces.
See, they've been metagaming. They've been taking morale damage. They haven't been taking health damage. So in theory, their health tracker should be pretty long still.
No, that's very true. It's very true.
In theory,
but if it gets to 0, they do fall unconscious.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that much damage.
She's doing them a favor.
Honestly, putting them out of their misery.
Madman Mullins. Again,
it's like shooting fish or men in a barrel.
Humans are buoyant. They should float for a little bit.
Sure.
And you can fish them out
unless
before they
they're
drown.
way down by boulders. But yeah, I hear you. Face down, exactly. And they're floating. You can get their bodies. No problem.
I'm not turning their heads into boulders. I'm just little tiny droplets. I'm going to put 4 into my sorcery test. And really... Okay, there we go. 10.
Hey, there we go.
That will definitely hit. I raised the difficulty. I will also say that's probably enough to do to hit 2 people. You could do your blast. And so you said she's just rained down like little tiny boulders and just sort of you're like throwing things at people. They're just kind of getting hit and irritated to the point. Water gets filled up with some blood, and like the irritation overtakes them, and then maybe that snaps them.
Hey, it's grounding. It still brings them back to reality. Feeling of pain.
They're in pain, and they look up and they just see like this rain of rocks come down. That's waking them up somehow. Okay, it worked. It worked. We're trying to justify it, but it worked. It worked. All right, who's next?
I guess we're going to go. Arkadiy hasn't gone. Chauncey hasn't gone, right? No, Chauncey went. It's
Chauncey's
Vincent
gone.
and Arkadiy.
Vincent and Arkadiy.
Okay, I think I'm going to throw it to the sirens. I'm going to leave Vincent and Arkadiy for the middle.
They've already gone.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, no, they didn't. What am I talking about?
No, they haven't.
No. They went the first round.
Okay. Jeremy.
Right. Let's see how many I'm going to activate on you guys. Okay, only 3 of them are going to turn to attack you guys. Everyone else is going to be on NPCs. So, first one is going to give you against Vincent. Man, they just like you, Vincent. It makes sense. Like you can see them. So
yeah.
All right. Here's the attack.
You see them.
3. What's your morale threshold? Okay, that hits then. Sorry. All right. So it's going to be 5 morale damage in your direction.
I don't want it to hit, so I'm going to have to spend another investigative to get +3.
All right. Which one are you using this time?
I've got points to spend in Spirit Sight. I'll just keep doing that.
You're just going to keep creating these duplicates, shifting, moving around, like drifting into spirit form. Okay. Next one is going to go after Chauncey. Chauncey, that's a 7 to hit. All right.
Yeah.
I finally rolled a 6. Okay. And then the damage is I roll another 6. So you see Valentina is suddenly here. And like that conversation that you had in Solovita's dining room continues. And and you just hear her, "Fool, coward. Yeah, for everyone but your own children. You're nothing. I should have listened to what everyone said about you. I've wasted my life." And she's just berating you with this. So that's 7 points of morale damage to Chauncey.
Yep, that's what would do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Poor Chauncey.
How are you looking?
So that I can take that down to 6. Fortunately, I'm still up.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not feeling very good right now.
And she's up there and she's still taunting you. So like she's still there. And last one's gonna have to Kipser. So after Solovita, one of these things floating overhead as you rain down the rocks kind of turns to you once more. Okay. And maybe we hear the sounds of the Chauncey begin to rise up again.
Yeah, I've got a good idea. Well, the Chauncey was because I was using Liar's Tell and I could see the real
You have another one.
But this one turns into an amalgamation. It's sort of a 2-headed giant of 2 people shoved together, both clearly murdered in different ways. As one side is my mother, her neck broken and water spilling out of her mouth, and the other one is my father, several knife points in his stomach and a slit throat as they berate me like they did when I was young. Well, my mother does nothing and is silent.
Yeah, so your mother just hangs there looking at you with almost like these sort of deadened eyes, and you hear the sounds of your father's voice. Your head just whips over, and you can see him floating there. It's a 4 to hit.
Yep, I have my morale threshold is 4,
and it's a 4 on damage as well.
Yeah, I am now at -3.
Okay, so you're gonna need to roll a morale test. You can make spends before you roll if you wanted to get a boost to that, but you're gonna make.
I'm gonna bring my morale to -5 so I can have +2 on the roll. Hold on.
One thing I was just looking up is that it's more difficult to get your morale back when someone else tries to help you with sway. So it's on that chart. So like once you get to -1 to -3, it's normal. Sorry, -1 to -5, it's normal. When you get to -6 to -10, it's half. So it's like a 1-for-1 spend for someone else to try to get you back up.
That's why I'm only going to -5.
Just saying the thing out
I think
loud.
that's the same, by the way, for health, by the way. I think that difficulty increases on health as well. I think they're identical.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Ooh, 5.
Okay. You do stay conscious. You do not fall over the railing into the water that is now filled with rocks.
Yeah.
Okay. I will give it over to Arkadiy, as that is my turn. The rest of them assume they're just attacking. They're attacking crew. All right, Arkadiy.
Arkadiy looks around, frustrated. He's like, "For the love of God, sorcerers, attack these dumb things. There's nothing we..." He throws up his hands and he looks for somebody else that he can try to pull off the railing. That's all he can do.
Yeah,
he can't even see these things.
You see, like, one person is like staring down and like calling and shouting to somebody. At first, it might look like they're calling and trying to help somebody up, but then you realize quickly, saying, "I'm too afraid to jump. I don't want to jump. Okay, I'll do it. And then they start to.
He grabs this guy and hip tosses him back into like the center of the ship.
Okay, go ahead and roll your warfare test. Yeah.
Going flat this time. 5.
That is good enough. And so you just sort of hit check him, throw him back. You see him stumble. He crashes into a stack of like of rigging, and he just kind of gets tangled up in it. But in the process, you save him from certain doom. Okay. All right. Who is
Vincent,
next?
do something.
Lesser demon
Vincent hasn't gone
or
yet.
lesser spirit. Let's make a deal. Take what you've already gained and leave us. Or I'll bind you eternally to the flames of the Automata.
Make a sway test.
Spend 2 on this.
I have a difficulty in mind. It is not normal, so you know.
5 total.
Okay. The one that has been manifesting as like the guard from your prison days. You see he turns his head. He's got this long hooked nose. He's carrying in his hand some sort of blade that's covered in fresh blood, but also stained with old blood. You can tell it's the type of thing that he would use to cut through some of these sorcerers that were in the jail cells. And he turns to you and he says, "What we've taken, and 5 more."
I offer myself instead. We can work together, form a pact. After these memories, I've got plenty.
Roll another. I'll give you another sway test. That's an interesting. Give me another sway test.
Okay.
Because you failed the first.
I've only got one
but
left
this
this time,
one. You're
so
offering
we'll
like a
see.
second. Okay. Well, don't forget you can always spend like the
Went better, I got a
pluses and
6.
such. Okay.
Hey.
Like his head tilts. This like big grin comes over his face. Do you? And then all at once, the 3 that have been kind of attacking you in these different directions, like one of them just creating the cell. You see these specters, and including him, come forward, and these tendrils just rip out from their arms, and they begin to dig into your temples, like in your eyes, your ears, and you just feel like all of these like memories just begin to get ripped away from you. And all around, the rest of you can hear the sounds of like people suddenly coming to like, what am I? Help! As there are like people down in the river, in the water, and anybody who's on deck who's in sight of Vincent can see Vincent's head is like arched back. You know, his back is arched, and he's almost being lifted up as his skin almost seems to be getting twisted and turned. These veins begin to show, and then like that, he just falls and collapses to the ground. And you look around, and it looks like everybody who has been who has been somehow like affected by these specters, is coming to with this daze, and there's a great deal of people in the water who are shouting for help. And Vincent, we'll say you fall unconscious. We'll say you fall unconscious for that. But I'll break initiative at this point, as you feel like as all these people that you've been helping suddenly look at you like, what's happened? What's happened here? You see Captain Solano come stumbling up. You can see he's got cuts and bruises on his face. What's the meaning of this? What has happened? Oh, what is? Oh, it. An attack. Who is it? And you can tell he's been like clawing at his face. It looks like he's got those kinds of wounds on his face.
It's sorcery. It was not an attack of weapons. It was an attack of the mind. It was some type of evil voices on there.
Looks around. Yes, Matriarch. Where's my crew? Oh, and then suddenly he hears the sounds and he starts barking out orders, like, to everybody to make sure they're kind of like with men overboard, stop it, pull. And he's like calling people's names out to check this side of the boat, that side of the boat, that kind of thing. Is anyone doing anything? You guys all just saw like Vincent literally get pulled up and then smashed back down into the deck.
Solovita would run over with her med kit to Vincent. I don't imagine he's taken any physical damage from this.
No.
But she would still try to like get him inside on a bed and start working on trying to like revive him.
Yeah, you can drag him back into the captain's quarters, as there are a couple cots set up as you all have taken over his quarters. Okay. What about the rest of you? What are you all doing?
Arkadiy would help pull people out of the water.
Yeah, get a rope, get something buoyant, even jump into the water if needs be, and help pull people in.
Okay. Everybody who's doing that, just give me an athletics point spent. And we'll just say that's going to get anybody who, because of the anchor, you guys literally didn't leave anyone way behind. Like, you're able to collect. Some people, unfortunately, obviously have died, but you do manage to collect a good deal of folk.
Okay.
Good thinking, Solovita.
Yep.
Okay.
I got those rope ladders and dropped that anchor.
Okay.
Good call.
All right. So Chauncey, Arkadiy, you help people. You help some of the crew. You're pulling up like ropes. You're getting people who are kind of climbing up that rope ladder here and there. Others that are just kind of doing a bear climb up the side. And you're pulling them up. Solovita is tending to Vincent. Fortuna, what are you up to?
I would say Fortuna would probably go over to Solovita to try to help with Vincent if she's able to rouse him so that she can try to do some kind of sway spend to his get his morale back up. So that's what she would be, kind of hovering over Solovita. You must bring him back. He sacrificed himself.
Yes, I'm doing my best, but what ails him is not physical, it's mental. It's something that happened in his brain. It happened to all of us.
And she'll look kind of over her shoulder at Fortuna. I saw them as well, them.
We all saw something, but Vincent, you've made deals for the benefit of the family, and you've been walking yourself beyond the line of the college and the line of the family, and you've been quite selfless for a family that did not come to your aid. You have come to our aid quite often, and we need you still. And so Fortuna would like I would like to take some of the refresh tokens to get some sway back so that I can spend some sway.
14 total, yeah. Assuming you guys didn't spend any.
Okay. Can I grab 4 of those for sway so that I can do some healing?
Yeah, if you're going to pull for sway and turn into morale healing, you can probably take more than 4.
So, Vincent, where are you at with?
I'm at -3 right now.
So if and you don't have a very high
my max
morale
is
threshold
4.
anyway, right? That's what I thought. So
Wow.
I think if I
You don't remember that when he did that?
I now remember. That's right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like you
So if I
should do
spend,
that.
sorry, I'm horrible at math. If I spend 3,
Okay.
that'll get
Yeah.
you +6 from where you are now.
Sweet. It puts me at 3.
Okay.
Okay.
So I would like to do that. So it's just a straight spend, and you were, and the spend is equal, so you're good.
I wouldn't
Vincent.
mind grabbing a few to refresh my sorcery as well. If I can grab, if Fortune is grabbing 4, Solavita will also try to grab 4 for that refresh.
Unless you keep
Chauncey,
track
I'm
of it.
assuming you need some sway.
I could go for some sway. Yeah.
Okay.
Arkadiy, do you need? What do you need?
You all should be able to mess around with the refresh tokens, so you're up there. So just keep track of which ones you use.
I'll just take 2 to get my athletics back. But
Mm.
All right. So as everyone begins to, you just all hands on deck, getting people up and out of the water. There's like a head count, and you notice that by the time, like you get as many people as you can still see from the water. You can see that there's a total of like 7 people who have perished or disappeared. Either those falling down from the wherever they were, like in the crow's nest, the mast, or something like that. Their wounds are irrecoverable, or people who have just fallen in the waves, or maybe some of the first to fall before the anchor fell and the river took them away. But 7 appear to be missing. It's not so much that you can't still that Captain Solano will assure you he can still do it, and he also says that there is an outpost up the river. We could recruit more sailors from there as well, replenish the ranks, supplies, sort of thing. Yeah. Very sorry that this happened under my stewardship. I'm not quite sure what those creatures were. I saw Bellamira.
Yes, it's the area that we're traveling through. We are likely to be beset by various things, and this was just the first of what may come.
Arkadiy looks around. He's like, "I did not see anything. You're all out of your minds."
I saw my daughter. She was hanging from a rafter in storage hold. She was calling to me. She blamed me. And then I saw my wife, my first mate. They answered me. I don't mean to contradict you.
It was all
Matriarch,
it was all in
but
your mind, though.
We have traveled this river, this path many times. We have never suffered such an attack.
No, you are correct, though. It is also our task and why we are here that is leading to there being more resistance. It's important what we're doing. It is important what we're doing, and there will be efforts to stop us in our path.
See, I am sorry, Matriarch, but these are not creatures that I think my sailors are capable of defending against. Don't know how much we can aid you.
We will continue to do as we can to bolster everyone and keep our watch, keep our eyes and ears open, and we will support everyone as best as we can.
So we push forward.
We must, unfortunately, and we will take some moments and give solemn remembrance, of course, to those who have lost their lives here. After that, we must move forward.
See. We will make preparations then. Do a final inspection. Ensure there was no lasting damage to the ship. Then we will
It's very dark. Perhaps we should just wait till morning to reconvene.
I think we probably want to make haste unless physical rest is required. I do not believe that sitting in place overnight is going to make us any safer.
I understand, Matriarch, but the river is very circuitous. And while it's not particularly rocky and treacherous, it is easy to run into the shallows when there's not enough light. We could.
I see.
We have ways, of course, if you wish us to press on.
Captain, this is your ship, and you know how and when to safely navigate it. I will defer to your expertise in this area.
He kind of looks a little concerned.
Will they return, these creatures that attacked us?
They might. That was my initial concern, that staying put may leave us at risk.
Perhaps we will push forward a little further until the next bend, and then rest for the night.
As you see fit.
Yes. Yes.
And you can see, like, his face is just like covered in these deep, these deep cuts where his fingers.
Captain. And I'll spend or not spend as you need to, but I do have bind wounds. So, like, Fortuna would, kind of do a little.
You want to spend your points on NPCs?
I was hoping a little more for flavor, but just that this is a skill set that she has. So
he is the captain. If there was an NPC to help, the captain of the ship that's going to get us where we need to go.
Yes.
Sure.
So if I need to spend, I'll spend. But she'll kind of go in her bag and just let me see that face. And she's sort of like kind of slapping his cheeks a bit, but she's actually sort of putting some like poultices on his face.
Okay.
It's the equivalent of like grandma like licking her thumb and like
he's not a young man.
No, but she's still quite a bit older than him. But she's trying to help him a bit.
Maybe 10 years, something like that. He's probably 60 or so. Okay. Anybody else have a task or something that they're looking to do before we close this scene down? Okay. So we'll say then that he does as he claims, and they collect who they can collect. They wrap bodies up and store them in an appropriate place in the holds. They do an inspection. There is some damage, but nothing severe. Again, Solavita, literally, that was a clutch move, as it very likely that the ship could have run aground. But you all will push forward for a little ways. You come to one of the bends, and then they'll drop anchor for the rest of the night. Eventually, the rain will cease, and you all can rest for the night, which means that you can do your general recovery before morning. So it's 2 of each, 2 morale, 2 health if you need it.
Yeah.
Definitely needed.
Morning will come. 2 things. One, you'll notice that there is a very thick fog on the river, which seems to be peculiar to those that are sailing. It's not the type of thing that they would see in this stretch. And then the second thing is, Vincent, when you wake, you have massive gaps in your memory. So what do you think, like, in terms of, do you think anything's left from your prison days? Do you think anything, like all of the trials and tribulations you've went through in your life that have made you into who you are, a chunk of that is missing?
Yeah, there's so many remnants since I spent so much time there. I'd definitely be a bit amnesic. Like, where are we? How long has it been?
It's only been one night. How are you feeling? Are you dizzy?
I think I'm fine. A new black splotch of ink is on my neck. It is a bit tendril-like. It's implanted there.
That's different. You've got a little black on your neck. Did you have that before? Do you remember?
Must be new. I remember a voice before everything went dark.
Yes, you could see them a little, or at all. You were reacting to things I couldn't see, but you were brought up into the air, your neck pulled back, if you will, and then you dropped. So, as from my perspective, that's what happened.
So we were under attack. How many did we lose?
About 7 sailors. You did, I believe, whatever you chose to do, it saved a lot more than anything else.
It's good to hear. But I think I'm feeling fine. It's hazy.
Well, I would prefer you stay in the bed for rest for another few hours at least. Let's make sure you're not going to fall over. Here, I'll let you borrow a great-great-great-grandmother Rithilda's skin diary to read while you rest. We have to make reference to it in every...
Nothing calms a person more than reading through their great-great-grandmother's skin diary. And by skin diary, we don't mean like, who she banged in life. We mean like her actual skin. So those are both equally gross.
Right.
Okay.
Fortuna would seek out Chauncey. Fortuna's low on morale. So Fortuna would go over to Chauncey and she would we've barely begun our travels and we've already, that was quite horrifying. We're going to be all right. We're going to be successful in this. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was just writing a letter for my children and my wife. I just had something come up recently and I wanted to get the thoughts down. But we're doing a good thing, and just bless you so much for your heart being in the place where it is to try and do this. I know you worked very hard to get here, and then to be willing to take this journey, to do what you're doing after working so hard to obtain it. That is a level of sacrifice and a level of character that I really admire. And I feel like not enough people tell you how strong you are, Fortuna. And despite you always look like somebody pissed in your gruel in the morning. You do. But at the same time, I know that there's kindness and there's love behind that stone face of yours. And I love you for it. I will admit I'm feeling very tired. This has not been a good day. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad we are doing this together.
I do certainly hope that we are successful in this, and I do believe that it is possible that a sacrifice may be required, but I do certainly hope that that is not where we land.
Yeah, I'll gladly spend some sway. How down are you?
If you spend 2, it'll put me almost. Sorry,
Perfect.
If you spend 2, that'll put me up to 7 of 8. So, okay.
Okay. So as morning progresses, you can definitely tell that the sailors are a little unnerved, not just by the events of last evening, but by the fact that there is this unseasonable fog or mist that is set over the river itself. So not so much that they're incapable of traveling, but you do see like one of the sailors who goes up into the crow's nest takes with them like this big quiver of arrows, and every now and then just kind of fires a lit arrow off to the sides just to sort of track the bends here and there. The trees on some sides get closer, kind of encroach upon you, and you can see that the trees themselves are quite large, but they're not lush or filled with vegetation, and they're all bent and gnarled in some ways. As you can see the swamp encroaching upon the river. It's about early afternoon by the time the mist eventually burns away. The sun comes up, humidity begins to set in, and you find yourselves approaching
a northerly bend in the Serpentine River. So the Serpentine River essentially goes in these huge sweeping S-like bends, right? It's imagine like an S turned over on its side, and you just have multiple loops like that. And so as you get to one of these northern bends, you can see, those of you who are on deck, like a village, a series of docks, buildings and such on the horizon on the northern side begin to appear as you move, as you kind of drift around the bend itself. The captain comes up to you all, wherever you might be, says, "This is the outpost Haven. We should be able to find some resupplies, possibly some volunteers to continue on if you want to get off the deck for a while, get to solid land beneath your feet. This is the best place to do it for some time. We have another 2 days journey, I think, until we reach a time in which we can't travel by boat any longer. I'm going to taking a skiff here with a few of my men. Mario is going to come with me. Says that some of the foodstuffs, it seems, have gotten they've gone ripe. They've gone bad. Going to see if we can resupply some of those. You are welcome to come with us if you are interested.
The food has gone bad already? We've barely been out 2 nights.
And you can see like the big chef guy, kind of bald head, Morrow, they call him. He's like, "Oh, beg your pardon, madam, but I don't. Well, we have some. The jars are good. Our draw goods seem to. Well, they've got all sorts of critters in them. Not worth eating, even for this lot, and certainly not for you." He's like bowing like an idiot.
And she's making the face that she always makes, which is very clearly, no, I'm not eating that. Good thinking then. Fresh food is very important. Yes, as
yes,
you were.
Thank you.
So are you all going to shore? Is anyone hanging out in the boat and doing something else?
Yeah, I'll go to shore.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Anybody else? Anybody hanging out? Let's just put it that way. Is anyone hanging out on the boat?
Soldavita's probably still dogging Vincent's heels to try to like get him to go back to bed.
I've rested enough, Soldavita. I'm fine.
No, it's just if you would just lie down for at least another 12 hours, it would make me much happier.
All we do is lie down in the ship. We gotta get up and move.
You're okay. Let's fine. Not far though.
So you get lowered down, or they lowered down the smaller skiff that you all took from Eversink to get onto here, and you all, the captain, Morrow, a couple others, fill in. There's maybe 10 of you. It could probably fit safely, and you find yourselves rowing towards this dock. When you get close, you realize like there's a couple other boats that are docked. They're fishing boats, small things, nothing quite so large as the Indominata. You notice like the docks themselves look to be a little like creaky. It's nothing like you're used to at Eversink. Now Eversink has like areas in the harbor that are certainly more dilapidated than others, but Chauncey, especially with your dabbling in the merchant company, and Fortuna, you've tried to create these mercantile deals over the years. Like neither of you have really spent any time towards the raunchier places. Arkadiy, probably when you were here in the Thieves Guild years ago, you might have gone to some of these darker places to make some underhanded deals from time to time. And then this is kind of the vibe of that. And it looks in some ways like the docks, like this little rickety like thorn of wood just sticking out from the shore itself. It's like this dark wood. It almost looks like it's covered in tar or some other substance.
You notice, strangely, I'll say, Arkadiy, with your vigilance, one thing you notice is that you don't see any signs of the chimneys being active. Like, you see a handful of buildings, and they're rugged. They're not these grandiose things, but you can see several of them have little chimneys, little spouts coming up here and there. You see no signs of smoke coming up through them, and you don't see anybody on the docks coming to greet you, which is a little peculiar, especially for a river outpost like this. If a big ship like the Indomina comes in, everyone can see it, and it's the sign of trade and commerce, right? And no one seems to come up. You see maybe a mangy mutt look up from where it's drinking, lapping up water at the base of a beach and begin to scurry away from you all. But as some of the crew start to tie off the boat, still no one's arrived, and it's extremely quiet, and you don't see or hear the signs of anybody.
Arkadiy turns to Captain Solano. Captain, is it common when you come to this place that no one comes to greet you?
No, it's not. I know the leader of this place. He's an old rickety man. He's a good one. And I don't... He would be here the first to shake my hand coming off. You were
Perhaps
here.
you should stay close to the boat while we scout area around and make sure everything is all right. I see no smoke coming from any chimneys, no people. I'm concerned that perhaps something has befallen village that may befall us as well.
Yes. If you see him, if you see an old man, no hair on his head, but all of it hanging from his face, his name's Carlin. Tell him the Dominator has arrived. Tell him Solano is here. He'll know who I'm speaking of. There's something of a tavern on the other side of me, kind of points to what was probably the equivalent of a dock master, a yard master kind of building. It's not impressive. On the other side, woman, raven hair. She works there. Goes by the name of Key. You could. Yes, if you. Something is very wrong here, though. You're right. You can see he looks worried. He looks very concerned. Okay.
Well, then perhaps we should go to a tavern and investigate. Maybe. What do you think?
We could go for a visit to the tavern.
All right, Chauncey, let us go. You and I, we'll go investigate tavern.
Okay. Kitty and Chauncey wander off. What about Fortuna and Vincent, Solavita? The three of you do.
Captain, maybe take the rowboat back to the ship with the crew and just wait for our signal so that we know it's safe. I think we're a little maybe sneakier than you, if you will.
He looks at you if he looks at your dress, and he looks at Fortuna with her cane, and he looks
he
hears the sounds of Chauncey. sort of whimpering as he goes.
Together, I think. I think we should probably. Yes. He should stay with us, I think.
Oh, I would like to make sure that the boat is secured, though, I'm thinking. Because that is our only great means of transportation here, if you will.
It is anchored, and the rest of his capable men are at the ship, right, Captain?
Yes, and we did not come. And he pulls out a saber, and you see his men start pulling out cudgels and things. We are not without defenses.
Okay.
We'll remain here, ensuring an easy return.
At least until, if we can purchase produce here, we'll definitely come back. But I agree with Arkadiy. This is not normal.
So
Yeah, he'll agree to hang back if you want to. I don't know if he would go all the way back to his ship though. Like he's probably more personally concerned about some of the people here.
Fair enough.
You need a command.
So if Arkadiy and Chauncey
here.
are going to the tavern, then can we go to where Harlan should be at the like dock house?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to go poke inside there. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where you're going, Vincent, Solovita. Are you going with Fortuna? Are you going with Chauncey and Arkadiy? Are you doing something else?
I'll follow Fortuna.
Fortuna, you should not go alone.
Okay. No, and Solovita and Fortuna, while we're doing this, I don't have to play it out, but I want to spend a couple sway to boost Solovita's morale above negative.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay.
Thank
you can
you.
also say we did that back on the ship. Okay, so the three of you head towards this dock master building. Basically, it's right on the edge of this dock. You go to the door and you realize the door itself, it's not locked or barred in any way. Push it open. You look around and there is absolutely no one in here. It's not a very large room. It's you can see there's a small table off to the left. You can see behind it there's a curtain, and that curtain is partially drawn, and you can see a hammock hanging, probably where he sleeps at the same time. Small stack of like odds and ends. There's like a couple books and charts and things like that. Off to the right, you can see there's jars and collections of various like soils and things. Some of them have been knocked over, and you can see there's several of them have crashed on the floor itself. You see these big, moist, like clumps of soil with these wriggling worms coming up from them, but clearly no one here. When Chauncey and Arkadiy, you pass beyond this place, you find yourself in a muddy road. It's not paved in any stretch. It's just this muddy, grimy, wet, just filth. And Chauncey, this might not be the best thing for your fancy shoes, your snakeskin shoes, but nonetheless, you feel your boots kind of sink into it. You can see, both of you, the signs of like a cart over here missing its donkey or whatever might have been pulling it. It's missing. Over there, like off to the right in the distance, you can see what looks like a kind of a splintered wagon. Up on one of the gables of a nearby building, you can see like there's like a giant hole in the ceiling, as if something fell down through it or burst up through it, and you can see a handful of blackbirds that are perched up next to it. But as the two of you get closer, Arkadiy, your vigilance, you can kind of hear you sort of hear sounds coming through the wall, like this wet, waterlogged wall of this tavern. And you can see there's a swaying sign that's snapped off one of the hooks, and so it's dangling by one hook. And you just see this big key, this big like red key drawn on it, and it's just dangling there. But you can kind of hear the sounds of something going on inside. What the two of you do?
Arkadiy looks back at Chauncey. There is some noise from inside. Perhaps villagers are in tavern, but we should be prepared for something else, of course. Then Arkadiy will push open the door and look in.
For fuck's sake.
Arkadiy, you push open the door. You see a very modest tavern. It is nothing to be particularly impressed with. It probably could fit a maximum like 24 people, and there's about 10 of them here. You can see there is a heavy-set man standing behind the counter. His back is to you on the far side, and you can see he is kind of pulling down some bottles, sniffing them, putting them back, and this and that and the other. You can see a handful of other folks have found their places, like either like at a table, or if one or two of them are like sitting on top of the bar itself, and they're drinking here and there. One of them is sort of like carving through something, like wood. On one of the tables, you can see that there's there's a gray-haired woman, her hair kind of slicked back with like a rope, and you can see she's just like ripping through what looks like some kind of swamp game. She's just like tearing away the fur of it. You can see the blood spilling and pooling on the table. And they all kind of look up as the door pops open. And none of them say anything.
I'm going to let you be the, wise, smart one, and I'll get the guy who looks to be kind of like serving, so to speak, the one who's behind the bar. What's with my cousin over there? He's the smart one, but I'll try and assist. I actually have I've run a tavern myself. I have rank in servility. Chauncey will just do his best to kind of like show up and maybe try to make an effort to talk less and just show that he's actively trying to help the guy.
Okay.
Serving people to kind of just, he's actively going to try and talk less, serve more, and create like just a wordless good vibe so that Arkadiy can then maybe wedge himself in.
Okay. So you walk across the room. It's, again, not a very big room. It's like maybe 4 strides and you're on the other side. And you're right by the bar. And there's 2 people sitting up on the bar. And then there's the big guy, right?
Arkadiy's just cocking his head, looking at Chauncey like, what are you doing?
Right into the den. Yeah. He walks right across there. There he goes.
These people have killed everyone in this town, but okay.
They turn, so both of them, the one of them that's whittling something, he's got these daggers. He's got a dagger stabbed into the countertop of the bar. And the other one he's just using right now kind of looks up at you. And you can tell he's got not an eye patch, but you can see he's got some kind of raw hide or cloth that just kind of sweeps over half of his face. And so you can see it kind of covers his eye and goes down his cheek. And he kind of looks up at you, looks you up and down. And he stares at your snake skin, because you're wearing your snake skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of stares down at it, and he stares up at you. The big guy turns around, and you can see it looks like someone took an axe and embedded it right in his forehead and then removed it, and he somehow lived because he has this huge cleft right down the middle of his face. His nose is splintered in different directions. You can see his mouth is kind of curved up on one side, and he turns towards you. What did you say?
Nothing. I recognize service when I see it, and I want to help.
You want to help? I know one that smells good. These all smell rotten.
I'm on it.
So do you move around the bar and start going through the bottles with him?
Yep.
Okay. Arkadiy, what are you up to?
Chauncey just looks back at Arkadiy, just eyes bulge wide with fear.
He's on the other side of the room. Arkadiy's still by the door. You just walk behind the bar with this giant man and these 2 people sitting on top of the bar. What do you do, Arkadiy?
Arkadiy is quite literally at a loss. He's just staring at Chauncey, trying to understand this suicidal impulse. And I think he's almost stunned into immobility. He's just standing there watching Chauncey, trying to understand why.
You said to come in here.
Okay. So Chauncey, you start pulling down bottles and looking for the one that smells nice. Arkadiy, you just kind of stand in the middle of the doorway, taking in the scene. Let's cut back to those of you that are in the Dockmaster's room. You've looked around. You don't see anyone in here. No one, there's no lock on the door. I mean, there's a bar. You can tell there's a bar on the door, but it wasn't set. You can see the hooks on the back side of the door. You can see the bar on the one side, but it doesn't seem set. What are the 3 of you doing? And when I say this, you can tell me what you're doing just narratively, or you can tell me if there's an investigative ability you're trying to use to collect information. Either way is fine. We'll figure it out.
That's a good
anything left
question.
behind? There's logs or paperwork that's left around.
Okay. If you want to start looking through, there are, in fact, behind this table on the left when you come in, you do in fact see that there are some logbooks and some other things that are behind it, kind of scattered about on the ground. It doesn't seem to be like well organized by any stretch of the imagination, but there's definitely something there. What would you want to use to sort of sift through it, or is there something you're looking for?
Yeah, just going through it, see what the most recent activity was.
Okay. Laws and traditions, I would guess, maybe could go through this, or even just a notice or vigilance, I should say. You could potentially do that, but laws and traditions, kind of understanding, like books, maybe. There's no real bureaucracy spend, is there, in Sentinels?
There's forgotten lore as well. For bureaucracy.
This isn't really forgotten lore, though.
Laws and traditions.
You just look
Good
at
luck,
the
Any of that? I'm just gonna look at it.
Okay.
Maybe show it to Fortuna.
Yeah, because I could do a spend either maybe commoners or outlanders, maybe if I could do a spend with one of those.
I would
maybe
take commoners. Yeah, or
okay.
I would if you
I'll
have something like Mercanti. If you have like an allegiance in Mercanti, maybe you have some experience with it. I would take that too. Okay. As you pull out these books, you start flipping through them, Vincent. Can't make heads or tails. The books you read are books based on sorcery, not books based on accounting and imports and exports and which boats coming in and which boats leaving. Who's tracking like repairs. But Fortuna, you're much better at this kind of stuff, right?
Cousin, let me take a look, and she'll kind of put her glasses up.
What you can tell is that there has not been an entry in this book, first of all, in like a week. There's nothing at all listed. You can tell that the book itself, it just tracks, like I was saying, mostly repairs and how long various ships or various boats have been here. But I will say, Fortuna, what you do find is, in addition to this logbook, you just kind of find another book that it's really just more like a journal, like he's just sort of writing down notes. And you do see that there's like references and sort of recent entries to like strange, like foul folk who have been lingering on the outskirts of the village over the last few days. A few of them caused some trouble over at Keys, stuff like that. Like you're finding like just him tracking like a mayor would, like what are the town incidents that has occurred recently. And those are the things that you see pop up.
Well, unfortunately, it does appear that trouble preceded us here. They really haven't had much traffic in a week, and there were some foul folk that brought trouble with them. So we have definitely stumbled upon more troubles and less respite, perhaps.
Catch up to the others before they run into them.
Okay. So, Victor, were you doing anything?
Yes. Okay, so I was thinking maybe from a skullduggery / city secrets kind of point of view, looking for things that have kind of gone wrong in here, moved boxes that shouldn't have been. But yeah, I think I would start there.
Okay. Skullduggery, if you want. I think there's definitely something for skullduggery if you want to.
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to spend on skullduggery.
Okay. Looking around, you notice that someone wedged, like there's like a skylight, not so much a window, but like a skylight. You can see someone wedge the skylight open, and like a little trap door that's sort of looks up into the sky. There's a little circular bit of glass, and so it's a way of maybe getting like moonlight or sunlight down in his area. Someone has wedged it open. You get the sense that maybe like looking at it, it looks like someone maybe broke in here. But even more so, you notice by the hammock that there are all sorts of stains on some of the ropes that are crisscrossing, and a few frayed ropes as well. You get the sense that you would probably piece together somebody came in through that ceiling trapdoor and stabbed whoever was lying in this hammock in the middle of the night. Well, probably while they were sleeping.
Okay, this is not a good place to be, and we need to be stealthy, quiet, and very inconspicuous. You see the skylight up top? It's been wedged open, and then it looks like you see these fun little spots on the hammock where the man slept. Yeah, he was probably stabbed.
Oh no. That's most unfortunate. I'm glad that we are sticking together, the three of us.
So, yes, let's... I'm tempted, if you guys can sneak over to the tavern, maybe? I'm thinking maybe I sneak and check some of those houses that Arkadiy noticed didn't have chimney lit, and I'm just gonna check to see if everybody is dead.
I'm sorry, you think you were going to go off by yourself when you just told us how dangerous it is here, and you think you're just going to go wandering off by yourself? I do not think so, young woman.
Well, you know, I'm very sneaky. Okay, yes. Okay, we will go together. I feel like we're definitely in the murdering town area.
So you're going to start going through some of like the little homes and huts and such. Okay, good. Vincent,
we're sticking together. We can do like a group stealth. You guys want?
Yeah, we could do like one person could do it. We could piggyback if you want to do that.
I can spend stealth. Yeah,
I can definitely spend for stealth as well. I also have burglary for us getting into the buildings.
I'll piggyback off of Solovita.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, let's just do who's going to do the stealth roll?
I've got 3 in stealth.
I've got 5 in stealth. How have you actually been rolling today, though, Melissa? Have you been rolling better than a 1? Because I've been rolling a lot of 1s.
I mean, I've also rolled a 1, so, you know.
Okay. It's got to be all rolled out by now. It can only be better.
Reset. You've got 5.
The only way to get over a slump, keep swinging.
I'm happy to spend
piggyback.
4 to make sure that we're like, okay, because this is a scary place.
Okay, just remember that piggybacking, one PC takes the lead, you make the test, the other people who are piggybacking on you have to make a point spend in that skill to get the benefit of your roll.
Yes.
Right? And if they can't do it, then increase your difficulty. Okay.
And that
so
is
Vincent
a 9.
and Fortuna, both of you would would also spend a stealth.
Done.
Yeah. You good? Okay.
Yep, awesome. I also spend.
Okay, so the 3 of you begin moving off to the edges of this little outpost, and you start slipping in to some of these villages, these village huts and homes. Mm-hmm. You find very similar things in that, like, you find evidence of breaking in, not nearly as stealthily and as effective if you've been, right. You can see signs of people, like, you know, prying open windows and doors and things like that. You find evidence of people of blood in some of these homes, a lot of the times, but no bodies. Then there's a kind of a larger building at the end of this run, and you move up to it, and you push the door open, and all your eyes just kind of go wide as you see in like the middle of this like the floor area. It's there's not like walls. It's just more like curtains that should be partitioning it. You see a tangle, like 4 or 5 massive snakes that are all kind of twisted and turned, and each of them have like these big lumps in them, not unlike the wine cellar from 15 years ago. You rolled a 9, right?
Oh yeah.
You push the door open and you look, and you can see like one of them, their head looks up. You see the tongue comes out, and the head is enormous. It's as wide as one of you, right? And it's just like the tongue comes out. It has that sort of weird, almost fox-like visage that you've seen so many times now. And it's like testing the air. It doesn't move immediately towards you. We're going to cut from you guys, though. As we're back at the little tavern where Chauncey is behind the bar, and you hear the voice of like the one who is whittling. He's just like, "Did you get those boots, friend?"
Oh, well, it's a funny story. A giant snake swallowed my wife, so I murdered it, and then I made boots out of it. I had help.
The big guy like kind of turns to you. Huh? What? You murdered a snake and made boots out of it.
To be fair, it did swallow my wife, and it swallowed me temporarily.
Arkadiy, you're in the doorway still. You hear, it's easy to hear. Everything else is fairly quiet, and you can hear that conversation happening. And he's just like, Chauncey's just like babbling. You catch out of the corner of your eye the woman who has been like stripping this swamp critter, this again little small mammal, like a giant rabbit or something like that, just kind of tearing it. Suddenly, like lifts up the bloody carcass, tips her head back, opens her mouth, and you watch as the jaw just opens wide, and she starts to lower the entirety of the rabbit down into her mouth.
Haha, I got you! What a funny jape! Yes, it was! Such a silly joke! No, of course not. This was a blessing bestowed upon me for years of dedication and service.
Arkadiy, you also see like the other one who hasn't said anything, not the bartender guy, not the whittling guy. You can see he's like unlooping what looks like a just a cudgel, like just some kind of like bloody like wooden club, kind of unhooping it from his belt as Chauncey starts to babble. What do you do, Arkadiy?
Arkadiy immediately moves, pulling Volpentis and one of his sea axes, and goes to cut off the woman's head as she's swallowing this carcass. He's saying, by the way, dear Chauncey, these people are quite bad, and you have put yourself in very precarious position.
You just opened the door, and I thought I was going to talk to the people, and you're going to think, oh, shit!
Bullshit is good response.
Okay. All right. We'll go into initiative. Arkadiy, you're kicking it off. So you go ahead and make your roll as you take it's like only like maybe 3 steps, and like you quickly try to cut through her. Absolutely.
I will spend 3 warfare.
All right.
Get a 7.
So she's like, this thing's halfway down her throat. You're starting to see her throat swell as the carcass is beginning to fill up. And you just come up and you just try to, with your, is it like a scissor like cut where you just kind of come up and try to do like this thing right across her neck? All right. What's the damage?
Let's roll some damage and find out.
See if you do in fact cut it clear.
So it's
oh my gosh.
Shitty damage. It's total of 3.
Oh no.
You one of your blades, like the Volpentis blade, just cuts right into her neck, and you see this splurt of blood come out, but it gets caught on the carcass of the rabbit, and so it doesn't come clear through, and her head just kind of turns. You watch as the skin rips away, and you see as your blade pulls, the skin is peeling back, and you see the neck has this run of scales on it. And she says something to you, but you can't understand it because she's got a rabbit carcass in her throat. But she does not go down in one hit, unfortunately, with only 3 damage.
I will go ahead and spend a Tactics of Death.
Yeah.
And take a second attack.
Okay.
Nice. Now your roll has got to be better.
Oh, shit. Time around. That was terrible.
What'd you roll? It was
5
3
to
damage,
hit.
right? Yeah, 3. Okay, yeah. 5 to hit. Still hits. Absolutely. I could do math. I'm trying to do math here. Okay.
5 points of damage this time.
Okay.
Better.
The axe comes back on the other side, and you essentially like wedged her head, and her head begins to tilt to the side. But you notice that she just starts to push herself up out of the seat, as if she's like this limp doll at this point. You could tell like blood is pouring out of her neck, but she is in fact not down, as she seems to be barely alive still.
So those damage rolls:
okay.
a 1, a 1, a 2, and a 3.
Rough.
We
You're
are
very
rolling
close to
hot
Oh my
getting
gosh.
I know you guys really are. Are you giving it to Chauncey, or do you want to let my people go?
I mean, you've got what, five people?
I have a total in here of about 10.
Oh, God.
Though not everybody is like ready to go
In position.
So I would say some of them are probably gonna just kind of.
So I'm gonna give it
probably
over
not go.
to your guys because we can't afford to have 20 people go back to back.
That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, the woman's gonna go. She's going to spit the carcass out onto the ground. Her mouth and jaw are still extended. You can see she's got like fangs that are dripping with her own blood at this point, and have like little bits of flesh from the carcass of the rabbit. And instead of actually like punching or hitting you, she's just going to try to just swallow the top of your head, as she will attempt to devour you. Okay.
Oh dear.
Rude, but okay.
What I can do. Yeah, it's very rude. Okay. So I'm going to
This is a fearsome thing to picture in your brain.
spend.
Just saying.
All right. Here we go. All right. That's a 4 to hit.
I will spend a point of vigilance. So I see her coming, and I managed to get out of the way. So I will spend a point of vigilance to give myself a +3 threshold for this attack.
Okay. Excellent. And so she'll like almost get down and bite, but you're able to parry her head away, kind of just push her head to the side, and she stumbles and her head tilts to the right, as if like you've cut through like the either side of it. Like the head is barely hanging on and blood is just pouring down. Like she's just no way she's living very long. I'm going to give it to the bartender. No, I'm going to give it to the guy who's unlooping the cudgel, and he's going to attempt to conk Chauncey in the back of the head. Okay. Also a 4. It's a 4 to hit.
Okay.
I know that hits. I'm pausing to see if you wanted to do anything before I roll damage.
I will try to use my dodge.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll make spend.
And you can also do the other thing to increase your thingamabobby.
Good.
In
Right,
armor 4 or grit 4 for a round or something.
Well, I think he did his dodge already. So how'd you do?
I got a 7.
Okay. You do see the attacker successful result. You definitely did. Okay. So you managed to like maybe you see a reflection in one of the bottles of it coming down, and you quickly shift your head to one side, and it smashes down like right onto the bar itself. I'm gonna have the bartender go next. You can track.
Wait. It was all just a joke. I'm with you.
He grabs like one of the bottles, does the classic smash it,
Oh,
and then just tries to garrote you.
Just no.
Like, this smells bad, and then just tries to jam it in your nose. Okay.
No.
That is a 5 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay. And
I'll try to dodge it.
okay.
I don't.
All right.
That's a 1. It's another 1.
He's just too close to you. You're right back there
Yeah.
with him. You're like fighting in a phone booth, and he just manages to get it. And he right up towards your face. And this is going to be 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Then the one who is whittling is going to sort of quickly produce both daggers, and is just going to spin around, hop up on top of the bar, and then just try to like rapid fire stab down onto you. All right. It's another 4. I'm rolling crazy amounts of 4s. So it's 4.
Okay. What's the thing where you can increase your threshold? Maybe there's something I should have been doing that was...
Yes. An investigative point spend.
Yeah.
You can gain +3 to your health or morale threshold, or gain armor 4 or grit 4 for 1 round.
So I'm incredibly dumb, and that's what I should have done in the first place.
Totally fine. But like the health or threshold increase is just for 1 attack. The armor and grit increase, that's for a whole round. So it's kind of up to you. So, what do you want to spend it on?
I don't know. I feel like it's in Chauncey's wheelhouse that he's just trying to dodge. That's what he does. Who am I kidding? Okay. So 4 meets but doesn't beat, I don't think.
Does it have to beat? I can't remember. You must exceed the attacker's successful result. So you failed. So he does hit, unfortunately. So it has to be higher. So yeah, his daggers will rain down on you.
Bunch of bad luck tonight.
7 points of damage.
Okay, well, fuck me sideways.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the 4 that were, I think, completely and utterly ready to fight. I think the other 6 at this point are going to begin, like, kind of, they're pushing out from their seats. They're pulling out weapons. You can see one of them is like moving towards the door to kind of cut your escape route. A few, I'll say, like, of the 6, we'll say 3 go towards Arkadiy. Now, Arkadiy's doing well. 4 are going to go towards Arkadiy and begin to surround you. One of them is going to block the door, and then 1 is going to go up to the bar. So effectively, there's like 5 on Arkadiy if you count the woman with the head falling off, and then there are 4 on Chauncey. And then there's 1 at the door that's kind of closing the door and kind of blocking you guys in. And so I'll say that's going to be their turn. So that's their turn. I'm going to give it over then briefly to Fortuna and Solavita and Vincent. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give this to? I'm going to give it to Solavita. It's your turn, because what you see, Solavita, is the snakes suddenly like lurch up, like their heads, each one of them, one by one, like look up. Their tongues are like constantly kind of tasting the air, and you can see they begin to stir. None of them snap out in your direction. These are like massive anacondas. You don't like, you realize as you're standing there, none of them are like looking directly at you. None of them seem to be like moving in your direction, but they seem to suddenly be aware and begin to start to untangle from each other. What would you like to do, Solovi?
Quietly close the door.
Okay.
First and foremost, turn to Vincent and Fortuna and quickly go,
okay, giant fox snakes in there. I think based on the evidence we saw in the doghouse and also the missing bodies and we're dealing with Chugat. The Borda's main followers probably would be my guess. Don't know for sure. But they're reacting to something right now. And the only other something that could be going terribly wrong right now is in the tavern with our 2 friends. So we got to get the fuck over there right now. I'm pretty sure. Meet me there as quickly and quietly as you can. Let's all go together, but we have to run. Okay. And she's going to start taking off towards the tavern.
Okay.
Quietly.
All right. We're still in structured time. So who do you want to give it to? I know you're not fully aware of what's happening on the inside.
No.
But like, yeah.
I would throw it to probably Fortuna next. She'll need to move.
So you just heard the babbling about these giant snakes on the inside. Something terrible is happening. These could be, like, snakes are snakes. You guys have seen these things before. You know something's up. So what do you do, Fortuna? Do you follow Solavita?
I'm thinking that I would. I was looking at my token of the unmoored path to see if I wanted to try to like get over there, but I think I'd want to leave that as a way to get out if possible. So I think I'm just going to run after.
Okay, so you race after Solavita. Vincent, do you follow your friend? Actually, I shouldn't say this. Fortuna, who do you want to go next? Do you want it to be Vincent?
Vincent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vincent,
yeah,
do
I'm
you
sticking with the
follow?
group and retreating from this.
Okay, so the 3 of you retreat away, start running towards the tavern. We come back to the tavern. Chauncey, you're bleeding from various like punctures. You're the last one to go, I believe. I don't think you've gone yet. You've got all these punctures and scrapes and cuts. You're surrounded. You're hemmed in by these three. Now a fourth figure is closing in on you, and you are like literally pinned against this bartender or this bar. You see Arkadiy is trying to hack a woman's head off, and it looks like it's about to fall. But then these others begin to close in. You see the door suddenly close. There's no light coming in from outside. And once again, you and Arkadiy are in a bar fight. Maybe some memories. I don't know.
These always go so well.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, you guys lived last time.
All that happened last time was Arkadiy got a death curse that essentially has been destroying one of his arms for the rest of his life. But other than that, everyone's
Other
all
than
right.
that, it's all good.
So what do you want to do, Chauncey?
I don't have any good ideas, so I think I'll just lean really hard into a bad idea. Like, there's tons of bottles that have been opened and poured out, like, smelling for it. Maybe with a bit of ridiculous luck, just because they smelled bad doesn't mean that they weren't flammable. And Chauncey's just gonna, like, duck down, look for a candle nearby, and just light all that shit on fire and just start crawling along the floor after he tries to start a huge fire. It's not a smart move, but it seems like the desperate thing he would do.
I
Great
absolutely
idea.
love it. Give me so go ahead and make your ridiculous luck spend. He just broke one, and there's definitely other broken bottles. They've been pouring things out. You have like a match that you strike and you drop, and suddenly the whole bar catches on fire. And since some of them have booze on them, they start to catch on fire as well. Tell you what, give me an athletics test. How about we say athletics test for you to like kind of, because there's not a lot of space.
Yeah.
And now there's fire. So let's do an athletics test. It's not going to be a default 4. I'm going to increase. I'm just warning you that the difficulty be up a little higher for you to try to like get out of this situation without some of the flames getting on you, or for out, just to get out of, unfettered, basically.
Okay.
You got this.
I got this. I got this. I got this.
You do
Yes, you
got
do.
this.
You do.
Oh my God! I want to live. Please let me out of here. Oh God!
Bump into one of them who goes kind of sprawling back, slams against the wall. You see one of the wall planes just kind of like almost pitches back and threatens to like rip off of like where it's fixed. And you're able to push past as the new person is like coming at you and trying to swipe. You're now like in the middle at this point of this small tavern. You've almost caught up to Arkadiy. Outside, Fortuna, Solavita, Vincent, you're racing forward and then suddenly, as if you ordained it, you see flames begin to appear, flickering outside of the tavern, like wafting up from like this like gash in the ceiling. And that is where obviously Chauncey and Arkadiy went. And that is where we'll go ahead and stop for tonight. We'll pick up on your bar fight in Haven next week.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God!
Right.
So well timed. Solavita's really, really, really good stealth, so that we could just
A couple of really good rolls there.
back out of that and the fire.
Yeah.
That was a good thought.
I walked behind the bar to help him find the right.
I was right.
"We're all
It's
gonna die."
I know.
You said we were going in. I thought I was going to be giving you a social buffer. I didn't realize it would be that bad that fast.
They were misread the situation. I vastly misread the situation.
Yeah. When we didn't see any
wow.
bodies, I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Yep. Oh goodness. Okay. So we'll pick up next week on in the middle of the fight. Brand new round. All of my enemies are now in the queue, basically, and even the snakes are at this point. And all of you relatively either in or outside of the tavern. So that's what we'll pick up. But that's for next week. Let's do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. So I'm gonna toss it over to Aaron. Aaron, tell us about what you got going on over on Garblag.
So check us out next Thursday on Garblag at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Garblag Games YouTube channel. We are continuing with our Otherscape, closing in on the end of our mission, fighting against a necromancer and his cyber zombies. So it should be a lot of fun. And definitely stay tuned, because after we're done with Otherscape, Pete is going to jump into the seat and he's going to run us through some Daggerheart in his own World Edge mountain setting. So that should be fun.
Awesome. Very excited to see that. It's also cool to see Pete getting back in the GM seat as well. I know he's been doing a lot of development stuff lately.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. As for the rest of us, first thing we talk about is Huckleberry. Our dear friend Steven has been making a game. It's called Huckleberry. You can find it at huckleberryrpg.com. You can get the quick draw edition over at Drive-Thru if you want to give it a try. And in a couple months, you're going to see it up on BackerKit. You can get your own fancy, awesome copy of it. You can also hop onto the Discord and ask them all sorts of questions. It's really, really fun game. In terms of streaming, tomorrow night, we're scheduled to do Magnus Archives, but aforementioned Stephen has contracted the plague, so it's possible we might not play. We're not sure yet, so maybe. Saturday, we're going to be doing some Call of Cthulhu. Monday, we've got Time Watch. If you like Gumshoe, if you like Kevin Culp games, we're doing his other one over on Monday. And where do we leave off? Oh yeah, we left off in 1969, Cape Kennedy. We're trying to figure out if Neil Armstrong has been replaced and if Stanley Kubrick has somehow convinced them about the moon landing. Jeremy doesn't think the moon exists. It's
a hoax.
Yeah, the moon is a hoax.
No, the moon's not a hoax. This whole story about the moon landing and world peace. My caveman doesn't believe it.
Yeah. And then Tuesday, you can see us playing.
There's a lot of modern cavemen that don't believe it still. So.
That's true. That's true. And then we've got on Tuesday, we got Mystery Flesh Pit National Park role-playing game. You can see Kipser running us through that. If you like Cypher System, come tomorrow night, come Tuesday. We've got your Cypher System. It's good times. That's it for us. We're gonna take off. I'm gonna put us on the end screen. I'll get us a raid going. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for playing, all that good stuff. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Good night.
Arrivederci.